It seems the activists, they are melting down. Gamers are now rejecting their political nonsense because we gamers, we really don't give a damn about the culture war, but sometimes these activists, they drag gamers into the culture war. While some ignore it, there are others who, all they do is criticize, okay? And then they get labeled. Just like what I do. It could be very vulgar the way I speak, but look, I'm criticizing what these activists doing.
Journo hacks who cover the video game industry are demanding that you pay attention to politics within this space. They are demanding that you stand up for your hobby, you try to force the fascists out of games, and that you make your voice be heard when really they just look pathetic.
Yeah.
I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships.
First off, shout out to Vera Dark. Again, I'll leave her video in the description. And also, it says right here, which I'm gonna guess, how much you want to bet the person who's writing it is either Alyssa McConte or anyone associated with her.
Yes, a lot of video game discussions have been political over the past couple of years, but it's because activists like this have forced their way into this space. If they hadn't, years and years and years ago, we wouldn't be in this situation. People would be able to go to work, make games, regardless of what their political opinions are. People would buy them, and everything would be amazing. But that isn't the case anymore because they constantly need their opinions heard. But now that it's not lunatic lefties controlling this industry, they are freaking out about it, and they're saying you need to be mad about Elon Musk, about the Saudis, about Trump, about everything.
Actually, I think these activists need to learn one thing. Look, how many times you see gamers go out and vote, which I'm certain some of you who is actually a gamer, you vote too. Based on my understanding, okay, many gamers, they rarely go out and vote. And they don't care who they vote. But this time, gamers are forced to find a political leader that will at least keep their media, keep their hobby away from this all culture war stuff. You know, because of these journalists and activists, yes, woke journalists, video game journalists and activists, they are the ones that force gamers to go out and vote so that at least their media, video games are kept away from these lunatics.
Happening right now because they're losing their grip on this industry and they're mad about it. So The Guardian had written State of Play, who holds the power in the video games industry in 2025? Not you, that's for sure, and you can't deal with that.
That's right.
This year has brought us many brilliant video games, but as wealth continues to concentrate and games are used to exert economic and political influence, we need to keep an eye on the top players. And yes, culture does control the world, at least in my opinion. Culture is an extremely important part of our lives, and I don't think that video games should be political.
Before I let Veradart continue, I'd like to ask all my American viewers here. It doesn't matter which state you are from, I'd like you to know, what is Western culture? More specifically, what is American culture? Let me give you for example, Black Myth Wukong and Where Winds Meet. The reason why it's successful because it follows Chinese culture and Chinese mythology, okay? I mean, we've already seen that not just in China, South Korea, and Japan. To all my viewers, it doesn't matter whether you are from America or Canada or the United Kingdom. Tell me, what is your culture is about?
That video games should be political, but you guys are the ones who made it political.
That's right.
In the first place. You guys are the ones who used it as a tool to try to push propaganda. If you hadn't done that in Gamergate 1, and really before Gamergate 1, activists were trying it, we wouldn't be in this space.
Let me give you an example. What else? Oh yeah, Resident Evil 5. What, you don't remember that? Black Zombies? What else? What is it they always attack? I don't know. I do know Resident Evil 5. I mean, there are many games that journalists attacks. Now you know why, from now on, many gamers, they are now looking at YouTubers, okay? I mean, seriously, usually, hey, this is something I learned from Jay the Concept. He said that if an IGN score is a 6 out of 10 to gamers, it is actually a 9 out of 10. Like for example, Where Winds Meet got a 6 out of 10 while Concord gets a 7. How come Concord get a 7, but the game, or in this case the studio, got shut down, while Where Winds Meet got a 6 out of 10, and it got 9 million players.
So it says, I love playing video games. Oh, yeah, sure you do.
Press X
But
to
what
doubt.
interests me most as a journalist are the ways in which video games intersect with real life. One of the joys of spending 20 years on this beat has been meeting hundreds of people whose lives have been meaningfully enhanced by games, and as their cultural influence has grown, these stories have become more and more plentiful. There's another side to this, however. A couple of decades ago, video games were mostly either ignored or vilified by governments and mainstream culture, leading to an underdog mentality that has persisted even as games have become a nearly $200 billion industry. As their popularity has grown, so have their political and cultural relevance, and the ways in which games intersect with real life are now colored by the economic and political realities of our times. Now, they do start off with talking about blockbusters and how there are games like Silksong and Expedition 33 that had very small budgets but made back larger profits. They talk about the Nintendo Switch 2, but then they get into AI, they get into
Yes.
unions, and really, you can tell if you scroll down what this is all about, and it is Trump and the administration, and also people like Elon Musk.
Let's be clear one thing. For me, I really don't give a fuck what they do, okay? All gamers want, all they want is just good, fun, and playable games, okay? That's it. We don't care about politics or anything. Do you really think I play Stellar Blade just because there's politics or no political in it? Or just because it's, what, a Gunner skin? Look, I play it because I support it. I'm Asian. I have to support my Asian comrades. If the game is fun, at least playable, okay? I played Stellar Blade PC port, okay? And guess what? It at least playable. Well optimized. Dynasty Warrior Origin. I played for like what? Nearly 200 hours. Guess what? No lags, no nothing. Well optimized.
You just can see how upset they really are over the fact that lefties do not have a lot of control in this industry anymore.
Nope.
And it's so funny to me that they go and they talk about the gaming industry and the history, but of course they're not going to bring up things that liberals have done over the years that would have severely damaged this industry, like the Family Entertainment Protection Act. I know it's been a long time since we've talked about this, but it is extremely important when you're talking about politics in the video game space. It was a failed bill introduced by Hillary Clinton, co-sponsored by Joe Lieberman, Tim Johnson, and Evan Baugh. It was a bill that called for a federal mandate enforcement of the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, or ESRB, rating system for video games in order to protect children from inappropriate content.
Also, first and foremost, before that, who gives children that kind of content? Okay, no. Honestly, look, I may not be a parent yet, but based on this, I don't need to be a parent to know that this one is the parent's issue, okay? Not the game's issue. I mean, you can disagree with me all you want, but based on this, I don't think it's the game's fault. It's the parent's fault. The parent should have been the one to look out for the kids. Isn't that what the job of the parents? I'm not even a parent myself. Even I know that.
Would have imposed fines of $1,000 or 100 hours of community service for a first-time offense of selling a mature or adult-only rated video game to a minor, or $5,000 or 500 hours for each subsequent offense. There have been several failed bills like this over the years, but they're all from liberals. Do they ever talk about this?
Nope.
And how really the political grab at video games has been, yes, going back and forth for decades, but there are way more liberals that have tried to enact change in this space than conservatives. Sure, the ESRB did primarily start with a lot of conservatives because there was satanic panic, and then it led into games with gory content and really violent content could lead to video games causing violence in the real world, with titles like Night Trap and Mortal Kombat.
Forget House of the Dead, and here's the thing. Tell me something, folks. I played House of the Dead when I was, 6 or 7 years old. So by these people logic, by the government or the ESRB, I should be desensitized to violence. I wasn't. Here I am, still alive today. So why is that? Also, see, here's the thing. This is why on my previous video, on my previous video at my first channel, I asked every of my viewers, what is Call of Duty rated for? The reason is because if Call of Duty is rated M for mature, then why on earth they have Fortnite skin?
but they never mention people like Hillary Clinton trying to enact change. Why? Because it doesn't fit their narrative. Video games have always been a hot topic with politicians. There have always been a lot of them who have tried to, control the space, because if you control culture, you control the world. But while the lunatic lefties did grasp onto this industry, they are now losing their grasp on it. You can tell really easily that the reason why they wanted to write this article was because of the ICE memes and also Elon Musk. They say what we see here is money and power concentrating in the video game world in the same way as in the wider world. And games have immense power to influence people's thoughts and attitudes. Yeah, that's why you cultural Marxists have tried to weasel your way into this industry. And at every single turn, you have failed to actually push propaganda in a successful way that people are not calling out. And games have immense power to influence people's thoughts and attitudes. The most powerful people in the world have started to realize this. Even Elon Musk sees the value of appropriating game credibility. He was discovered to be a fake gamer in January after boasting about his PoE 2 character online. Why else would the Trump admin be tweeting AI-generated images of the president as Halo's Master Chief, or using Pokemon and Halo memes to recruit for ICE?
Now, for Pokemon memes, I don't know about that, but hopefully some of you would explain to me why. As for the AI generated, let's be clear one thing, folks. These journalists, they are afraid because right now, the journalists are facing a choice. Be replaced by AI or YouTubers. And tell me something, how come does a channel, let's say CNN, wait, not CNN, MSNBC channel in YouTube, less subscribers than creators such as, I don't know, Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers, or Mark Robert, or even better, Penguin Zero?
Right-wing agitators continue to feed culture war spats over a black samurai in Assassin's Creed or a non-binary actor in a PlayStation game. Now, I say this all the time. I am a libertarian, but I definitely do lean more right-wing, obviously. I could not side with these people in this article at all whatsoever because they sound insane. Why is it that quote-unquote left-wing agitators end up creating entire companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to try and push propaganda? Why is it that quote-unquote left-wing agitators weasel their way in and then they demand that companies make change and threaten them and try to blackmail them if they do not alter their games?
That is quite true. And how come these people keeps getting away with it and not get arrested? Well, unless of course if they're from Canada, which the only way that happened is that there's a new Canadian Prime Minister that is opposed against this woke mind virus and arrests anyone who makes threats, which it doesn't matter which country you go, okay? I'm 100% certain that it is a crime to make threats, okay? How these people get away, I have no idea. Yeah, and I do mean people like Sweet Baby Inc., okay? Unbelievable. I swear, I wish there was a Canadian Prime Minister that can at least arrest them, because I know threatening or blackmail is against the law, okay? Regardless where you're from.
That is deemed more inclusive. Yeah, two can play that game and you are going to lose every single time. Just because we talk about what is happening in this industry does not mean we are agitators at all whatsoever. And yes, I do think that putting Yasuke in Assassin's Creed was a pretty big situation, and it was much larger than him just being a black guy. You are trying to dumb this argument down because you want a normie to click on this article and not rip it apart. But of course, I exist. And they say a non-binary actor in a PlayStation game. You mean a person like Erika Ishii, who was self-proclaimed Antifa? That's a little bit more than them just being a non-binary actor.
When it comes to Yasuke, listen, it doesn't matter whether it's a game or not. You do not disrespect Asian culture, okay? And also, again, does Sucker Punch even know that they hired a literal terrorist supporter?
for sure.
Here we go.
They also talk about how they don't pretend to be neutral on any of these things. Oh yeah, we can tell, buddy.
Press
Earlier
extra
this
doubt
year,
on
after I
those
wrote about the
statement.
Saudi acquisition of EA, I got an email from a reader asking if some of this stuff is more editorial opinion rather than fact and news. The answer to that is it's both. I will never report on anything here that isn't true, but I also won't shy away from delivering my informed opinion on the things that are in the gaming world. Yeah, but you are completely uninformed. Unsurprisingly for a Guardian journalist, my values are inclusive, left-leaning, and somewhat skeptical of corporate power. And of course that informs what I write in Pushing Buttons. I think that those values are vital context in these times. Of course, you're saying your values are vital because if somebody doesn't respect your values, you don't have a job anymore. It is insane that they constantly will sit here and write articles like this while not giving the whole context, while not painting the whole picture, because they hope people are stupid enough to click on this article, believe the lies that they are spouting, and not ask questions. But gamers are sick and tired of activists like you pushing your way into this video game industry. And I say this all the time. If tomorrow video games were suddenly all 10 out of 10s and people like this were not pushing, bullshit in this space, I would be more than happy to just play video games and rate them and review them and talk about them. And I do that. I live stream 25 to 30 hours a week of video games and what I'm excited for and titles that I have a lot of love and nostalgia for. But these people don't play video games. They don't talk positively about the video game industry ever. And yet they sit here and make everything political, even though they're claiming, video games shouldn't be political, but they are the ones who are pushing this time and again. So I'm not shocked to see a stupid article like this pop up right at the beginning of the year, but luckily a lot of people like this are not taken seriously in this space anymore, and you love to see their meltdowns.
Again, shout out to Vera Dark. Man, she roasted them. Before you say that we grifting and all that, I'd like to ask you guys one question. If I was grifting, why do I have video game footage transitioning on all my clips? Because many people who say that people like us or Vera Dark or anything, they're grifting, they didn't play games. So you're saying that the video game footage that we have are from YouTube channel? No. No. And if you see the intro that I put in this video, okay? I want you to tell me, is it me playing the game or is it coming from a YouTube channel? Gamers, even myself included, I really don't care who I vote, okay? Even here, where I'm from, Malaysia, okay? I don't care who I vote. What I know for certain, like for example, when I work, I put my politics at home, okay? I didn't bring it at work. Regardless of who I vote, as long as they keep their politics away from video game, that's all that matters. And remember one thing, Asians, they don't have the luxury to alienate their audience, okay? Whether it's Chinese, Japan, or South Korean, they can't alienate their audience compared to the West. Well, most Western AAA games, usually their developers like to attack the audience. But Asians, no, they don't have the luxury because when it comes to money, they have to choose either the money or the politics, aka virtue signaling. All gamers, mission accomplished.
Fortunately, evolving teamwork between ground spotters, artillery, and the Army Air Force meant no tiger was impenetrable, thus helping the Shermans rule the day.